What's going on, everyone? I am your host, Jacob Brothers, and I am joined by a face you should recognize, Dominic Schatzan, production of a UNLV side of Checkpoint XP efforts, and we also have thoughts from Jose CS to talk about. But how you doing, Dominic?
Hey man, I'm doing great. I'm glad to see you again. Happy graduation, and
you too.
happy winter break. I'm ready to get into some hot cocoa and some Christmas movies. But we gotta do this great show for the last time until spring. So let's get started.
We made it. Yeah. So I asked you and Jose to go over some collegiate production quality esports. So who would you say has great esports production quality to start?
So me and Jose actually came up with a consensus in our research. We both think that Collegiate Rocket League is basically setting kind of one of the standards in production values. I mean, they have a custom logo specifically for Collegiate Rocket League. They have custom broadcasts. They have announcers that are involved and engaged every single stream. Basically, every game they get up onto their Twitch channel, and they have a Twitch channel for Collegiate Rocket League as well. If they're not showing it on their own, main Rocket League channel. And when you look at that type of production value and what they're putting into it, they're basically putting the same values that they put into their actual pro scene, which you love to see. And segueing off of that, the Overwatch Varsity Series is doing the same thing, right? Obviously, Overwatch League is a huge deal, has actual corporate sponsorships, has big-time money invested into it. You look at the way that they're presenting their college league, and it's pretty much on not necessarily on the same exact level, but they're putting those same values into their college branding that they're putting into their pro branding, and it's making it into something that really shows like, hey, our college students that are playing in our Overwatch leagues, these are the future, right? It makes it almost like a one-to-one transition, and that's what you want to have.
Right.
It's like when you watch college football on ESPN, you shouldn't have a stark difference from college football to Monday Night Football. It should feel like, all right, like you want to kind of have the similar broadcast and presentation. Yeah, there's a little bit differences because college is different than professional scene, and you want to have their own unique qualities still, but that production value still needs to be there. And I think those two games are the ones that are doing it best right now.
So question before we go on to the not as great people. So when you're looking at these great production values, so it really comes down to like the camera angles and the casters and the logos is pretty much what I'm hearing here, and the graphics.
So yeah, you want to have great aesthetics, right? If you just, you
want it to feel real.
Yeah, well, that too. What you kind of brought up, spectator cams, man. You need good spectator cams, and that's on game developers. If your game developer isn't like really thinking about esports, it kind of can get, it can feel very static if you're just looking from only, say you're playing Call of Duty, if you're only ever looking from the first person perspective and you're just jumping around from each person's first person perspective, and there's no aerial views, there's no like way to kind of get a cinematic shot like the way they can do in Overwatch and in Rocket League. It really limits the way you can really show your product, right?
Overwatch's camera in particular is so good. But to jump back to Jose's notes, he noted that bad production was Rainbow Six, which I know you're pretty well educated on, as well as Call of Duty. So could you expand on why that those two in particular are struggling a little bit?
I kind of touched on it already with Call of Duty. Their spectator cam is, usually it's like an afterthought, right? Because Call of Duty is going to sell millions and millions every year. So they're like, who cares?
Just show people shooting the gun,
Yeah, just, people are going to buy the game anyways. Rainbow Six, it's more of a specific nitpick with us, right? Rainbow Six has a pretty decent spectator cam. They can basically cut off the whole building and show like a whole top-down view. It looks great. But with the collegiate scene in particular, Rainbow Six, Ubisoft's specific like collegiate program, there's just a lack of content. And it's just that they're just not putting out that content. Basically, if you want to watch Rainbow Six Siege collegiate matches, you're going to have to go through somebody else. You're going to have to go directly through that team. You're going to have to go directly through just a third party, because Ubisoft's, they're not putting it out. That's our nitpick with it, right? And also aesthetics wise, if you look at the way that they're kind of treating it, it kind of feels like the way Call of Duty treats it. They're just like saying like, well, here's our normal logo, right? And we'll just slap collegiate beneath it. And it's like, okay, so the effort isn't there. You can see
it definitely feels pretty clunky. Like even with that nice cam that does cut through all the buildings, I feel like even then it still looks kind of like jarring and kind of like, you know, it's kind of jerking you around, and it's like, and now he's building a wall. You're like, oh, now I'm here. And like, you know, like I feel like it doesn't have like the cutting around capabilities or quality that Overwatch does, where you can go from the 3D nice smooth swinging cam to the first person perspective and then jump back to the third for a random corner. And so yeah, you both noted that the lack of message getting out there really does hurt it. Even if it's not the literal production, it's like if they're not really getting the practice of airing this stuff for people that are going to actually watch it and respond, then they can't really make those tweaks that make it better, a better production.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just, you know, a small caveat to Rainbow Six, and it's like a little bit of like an excuse for them. Like they're still new. Ubisoft scene is still relatively new compared to the other ones we've talked about, but they need to pick it up if they really want to get into this scene.
Well, Ubisoft, you heard it here straight from Dominic. Fix your stuff. No. But on a real note, Overwatch is crushing it. Rocket League's crushing it. Rainbow Six needs some help. COD needs some help. So Blizzard, Ubisoft, there's your information.